2, 1, 2. Alrighty, welcome. I hope surely that's all coming through. Let's just be even nice. I'll wave at you, you wave at me. So, I'm not sure how long it's been. I think it's been a few days, maybe 4 or 5 days. I've been grinding, AOE farm grinding, and I'll just show you the locations, what we've been doing here. So basically I did most of the questing in Eastern Plaguelands. What I mean questing, I mean the actual quest, because there's some nice item rewards. So my goal was to get to enough level to trigger those, because there's a couple of items which I'll show you in a second. But predominantly, I did it the wrong way. But I will warn you. So when you get to level 50, I guess where is it? Hinterlands. The Hinterlands. There's a lot of elite quests here. So my late 40s, I triggered all those, and that got me up to 50. And there's some tons of turtles here to AOE farm and all the rest of it. So giddy up, all that sort of magic stuff. But basically it's about the Western Plaguelands. Now, I started doing Fellstone Field. So there's a lot of two main types undead here. There's a skeleton caster that casts a frostbolt, and then there's a lot of like rotting undead type melee types that can cast a curse or disease on you, sort of thing. So I leveled here up to 52. And I then picked up some sort of quest that took me into Sorrow Hill, and I was googling at the same time because I was always looking for what's the best pathway. And going into Sorrow Hill, I discovered that there's just a hole in this whole area. There's like here, up here, and around here, decent amount of skeleton mobs like these, but they don't cast anything, so they're all melee. And if it's just you, you're going to rack it up. For me, it's very close to Alliance flight point, and so this did make it interesting, because at first there was no dramas, but then this little gnome come along. I screenshot his name because I ended up getting. He tried killing me or something. I don't know what happened. He tried stealing my pulls. I'd tee up the pull and you start to go, and he'd come in and steal the pull. He'd come in and not frost dome, but arcane explosion it and run off, and I was like, you dirty little. And he was constantly doing this, and I'm not going to get bullied or back down. He's Alliance, I'm Horde, so I was like, bring it on, just don't get toxic. So he was constantly trying. I had 2 levels on him, roughly, or about a level and a bit, and he looks like he was playing 12-15 hour days, because he was just there non-stop. And so long story short, I ended up dragging mobs into his thing, but I did it better. And he seemed to get overwhelmed and killed a few times, which just made me laugh. I never died once, which is hilarious for me. But I was always playing with that safety factor, so he was always trying to pull as many mobs as possible, and you're going to die because it happens. I've tried it too. You try to pull every mob on the screen and you can't stuff up, and if there's a slight bit of lag, you're gone. And I'm getting a bit of pause lag. I'm not sure what's causing it. I might change my Wi-Fi modem. I might use my phone because it's 5G and all the rest of it. But anyway, long story short. But Sorrow Hill, like, this will take you from level 50 up to level 56. The closer you get to 56, it slows down per. You get less XP per mob, but you can pull more because you've got more life and all the rest of it. So so I'd stay here up to around 56, and prepared if you're going to compete with a few players. Melee do come through as well. Then you've got a combination, of Fellstone Field. Then you've got Dulcin's Tier, and around the buildings there's near the cauldron, and here there's a massive quick spawn, a lot of spawn inside here and outside the buildings and across up here. So I would zip in, stealing and round them up and burn them all down, all that stuff. But you will get, and there was the skeletons in here. There's two types. So there's a zombie guys again, and they cast some curse or disease on you. But then there's the skeleton lords or skeleton somethings, and they can fear you, and you don't have to actually be attacking. For whatever reason, if you get within range, like I was trying to kill that little gnome again, and I killed him several times, but he didn't seem to care about dying all the time. He was just about maximum XP per hour, and if he died, he died. He didn't really give a shit. But made me laugh a lot because all I saw was his dead bodies, and he was constantly trying to get me killed or scare me off. And I was watching how much XP. I was trying to average 50k XP an hour, and so I killed him a few times, got the mobs, but he was zipping through it. It was just, the XP was dropping. So I got to 57, and then that's when I migrated up to this camp here, the North Lumber Camp. And this is where I got, I scored an epic here, and I scored another epic here, which is the Krol Blade, which on the auction house on Rimbulus for 300 gold, if you want it. But anyway, and there's good range of mobs here. They're Scarlet Lumberjacks, drop a lot of good stuff, and I took myself up to level 58 here. And from here, I then migrated up this road into Hearthglen, and then all around here, there's all higher level mobs, and I can burn those down. And I've got, tons of this, tons of that. So a lot of stuff's dropped, so it's all good. Again, as you probably all know, you don't have to be at the best gear. Now, I've gone out and spent some money because I just wanted to spend some money. I've already hit my 1,000 gold, and I've passed my real warlock, doubled his gold basically. So all good. So basically my gear again is just the gear of the eagle that I buy off the auction house. And now I did one run of whatever dungeon and this dropped, so then I ended up buying the other set. What is it? The sandals. The sandals dropped, and I bought the wraps, and then I decided to buy the mage one and the belt because they got the gear two. That's 400 extra armor. No idea. But most of my gear is of the eagle, and or dropping from the eagle. And like I said, majority is either I dropped it or I did snipe it off the auction house. This one is off a particular quest in the Eastern Plagueland, so unless you want to spend 10 to 20 gold. On the Horde side, it's a lot more expensive than the Alliance side on this server, because I think there's a lot more Alliance players. It does look like that. I'm not sure the life, but it is. But look, like I said, I've got with my Arcane Intel buff on, I've nearly got 6,000 life, and I've had that since 5,500 since mid-levels 50s. So that's lots of mana for not being, in epics and shit. Like level 60, I got more than him, but you trade mana for spell power and things like that. So unless you got the really best gear, I think the best guys are all full Ray kitted. They've got 6,000 mana plus 300 plus 400 plus spell power, which is a big thing. The great thing about being the mage and AOE blizzard farming is that you can get a lot of spell power, but it doesn't really increase. It does increase the damage of your blizzard, but it's only a few points here, a few points there, so it's not really worth it. Sacrificing your mana and your life. As I said, my goal was to get 3 grand life, 5 grand mana, which just meant I just had this emergency buff, as in like I could just, I did get some spike land that killed me once in a blue moon, but it just allowed me to get there and make life really easy. And honestly, majority of this gear is off the auction house. You don't need a ton of money, and if you're looking to start if you're starting to get into World Classic, or you're struggling and you're sick of doing something, or you rather level, start a mage, alliance or horde, doesn't matter. Probably a gnome mage is probably the best way to go on alliance, and start learning how to AoE farm. It doesn't really start until level 22 roughly. I think you can start as early as 18 or 20, but honestly level 22 and onwards, and each level you get stronger and stronger, and by the time you hit 40 you're a dynamo. And from there, if you get to level 40, you should have and it depends on your luck too. I had a couple hundred gold by level 40. As I said, I've got probably a couple $100 worth of, oh geez, no, I've probably got about, if everything sells, I've got another 500 gold on the auction house, but that's if it sells. But yeah, I'm halfway to level 60, and so I could have kept grinding. I just thought to myself, my goal was, I could tell I was going to probably hit 60 by at the start of the week, say Thursday, and it's Wednesday now. Honestly, I could probably, if I just went nuts now, probably 10 o'clock tonight, be level 60. But yeah, I'm just going to do probably a couple hours tonight, and then finish it off tomorrow. And then the grinding starts again. But it's had its moments. It is what it is. But it certainly got to the point where I'm just playing the game, and being a warlock for so long, there's a couple classes that always used to piss me off. I remember back on Wrath of WoD, one of my raid mates, who was one of my major competitors for being the top DPS, and he's a druid, and they had that Starfall, and he could just farm the bejesus out of so many mobs, and he was constantly getting, at the start of expansions, the new purples, trinkets and rings and stuff. And I'd say to him, sell it. But he was he always did the opposite of what I said, because he always thought I was trying to shaft him, and then he'd always be broke. And I said, well, dude, you could have sold that trinket or ring, right, at the start of expansion for a ridiculous amount of gold, and then sat back and then picked up a few other things and just played the game. But you wanted to keep it, and then you wanted to go nuts every time you got coin to go get more stuff off the auction house. That's just what he did. But then again, he was only 16 at the time, but yeah, he was driving my head in, but he was ultra competitive. But yeah, look, AoE farming, and as I said, there's so many areas. I might do a video on that, but there's so many videos out there. All I can simply say is that most of these things are pretty much true. The big issue I have is a slight bit of pause lag that's killed me once or twice, or put me in tough things. But once you get to level 50, basically Western Plaguelands is your playground. I'm sure to God there's somewhere in the Eastern Plaguelands, maybe Tiz Hammer and other places, but they're all elites. But there's got to be other stuff around here as well. But I'd recommend when you hit 50, you can do 56 in Sorrow Hill, and then basically you can go to Dawson's Tier and do it all to level 60 there. Personally, for me, there were so many Millie and other mages coming through into these two areas that I went up north and found the Lumberjack area, and then Hearthclan. Now in Hearthclan, I'm still competing with an Alliance level 60 mage who must be doing it for gold, because yeah, and of course they try to kill me repeatedly at the start, and all I could do was laugh and just kept coming back. And one thing about getting good items, it seems, I don't know, maybe I'm superstitious, I'm sounding like a poker machine player, is that I would go into different areas and grind mobs, because I always felt it's always about stats and statistics, because I think it's like a couple of percent to get a nice item. But once I was in an area for a while, I quickly would cross the server lines and come back again and go into different areas to kill mobs, just to freshen it up, but also reset things. And I've had a few epic strikes. As I said, I got the Krol blade, there's a necklace, and there's a few other purples that I got, but I've sold most of them anyway, but it's all good. Anyway, I didn't want to bore you too much. As I said, should be 60 by this time tomorrow at worst case. Other than that, smoke me a kipper, and I'll be back for breakfast. That's all I can say. So, see you on the other side. See you tomorrow, and I should be level 60 over, unless unless the aliens invade. Other than that, talk to you soon.
Man, game over, man. It's game over.
Do you want to live forever?